Of honor here, and on behalf of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce's Board of Directors, welcome to the second event in our series focused on contracting opportunities with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. I am Barbara Ash, Executive Vice President of the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce and National Director of the Veteran Institute for Procurement. This event series is co-hosted with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and is brought to you by MCC Chamber of Commerce in partnership with the Chamber's GovCon Council and the VIP program. I would also like to thank and introduce our sponsor for today's session. Thank you to MBL Technologies for your generous support for this event. Dennis Lynch, Senior Vice President of MBL Technologies and a graduate of our VIP program, has joined us. Dennis Lynch has 23 years of experience designing, developing, and implementing audit, defensible security continuity, and resilience programs across the federal government. As MBL Senior Vice President, Dennis oversees all aspects of both business operations and client services, including business development, security, IT operations, and contract project management. He is an active member of ASIS International and ISC2. His work on behalf of these organizations helps him tailor solutions for his clients' needs while improving MBL internal operations. Dennis, please join us and offer a few opening remarks. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Barbara, and thank you very much. As I was working to develop the talking points for today's discussion, I wanted to make sure that I left everyone with something beyond just introducing MBL and sharing what our capabilities, our clients, and what we think makes us a great company. I thought I might also add some value by sharing a little bit about how MBL started out, how we got to where we are today, and what we're trying to do to position for future growth. So hopefully everybody can walk away with some nuggets that either provides a new perspective or maybe just add some positive reinforcement to practices that they've already implemented. And if you can't tell already, as we discussed on the prep call for this, I'm from New York, and public speaking makes me a little bit nervous, so this will all be done in 3 minutes regardless. So MBL Technology's story began back in January of 2007, as many small businesses do, with the classic, we know what we're doing, why are we doing this for somebody else, let's just be doing it for ourselves. And so our CEO, Matt Buchert, who unfortunately couldn't be here today, but is a U.S. Navy service-disabled veteran, and the leadership team at the time decided, let's start small, focus on what we know how to do well, which is delivering cybersecurity and privacy services within the federal healthcare space, in particular at HHS. And so initially, we just focused on being a good partner, delivering value as a subcontractor, and establishing our brand as a trusted source of cyber and privacy support. In 2009, based on our relationships and a reputation for high-quality delivery to our customers, we caught our first big break and secured not one, but 2 large prime cybersecurity contracts. The first contract was at HHS headquarters, supporting the HHS CISO, now the Office of Information Security. And our second contract was supporting the cybersecurity and infrastructure program at AHRQ. We learned a lot during those first years, and we benefited from having clients and teaming partners who very much believed in the one team, one fight mentality that so often gets lost today. One of the key lessons that we learned, and we still continue to work at today, is the importance of creating a culture within MBL that focused on continuous improvement, quality delivery, stakeholder engagement, and building those deep, trusted relationships with a small number of great partners. And by the time I joined MBL in July of 2012, the competitive landscape had shifted somewhat, and many more companies were entering the market, which is a trend that's only continued to accelerate today. At the same time, the government approach to buying cyber and privacy services was also beginning to shift, with some buyers embedding the requirements as part of larger IT contracts, and others breaking them out into multiple contracts of smaller size, scope, and duration. And so we quickly realized that MBL was going to have to evolve also in order to address the new competitive landscape, or would risk becoming stagnant or even worse, irrelevant. So with that in mind, we prioritized our investments in areas that could position MBL for long-term stability and growth. First and foremost, we invested in our people success team. Our people success team serves as the tip of the spear when it comes to the ability to deliver high quality results to the customers, because they find, hire, and retain our talent. And really, That's what we provide our customers with, smart people. We developed our in-house recruiting capabilities. We added new benefits that align with current workforce interests, and we doubled down on investing in education and training for our staff by introducing new programs like an annual certification campaign. We also invested in quality and process improvement. We recognize the importance for both quality delivery as well as the fact that a lot of times it just serves as table stakes for those large GWAC and IDIQ procurements. So we pursued and achieved the ISO 9001, 20000, and 27001 accreditations. We also diversified and expanded our capabilities. So while staying true to our roots in federal healthcare and cybersecurity and privacy, we began to explore other markets in the federal civilian space, both as a prime and a subcontractor. So this diversification included expanding our healthcare footprint into the VA, as well as other parts of HHS like OIG, ONC, ACF, CMS, FDA, HRSA, and NIH, and then other federal civilian agencies like FDIC, FRTIB, SEC, NRC, Education, USDA, and the House of Representatives. While we continue to differentiate our existing cybersecurity and privacy service offerings, we also expanded into adjacent service offering areas within enterprise risk management like COOP, BCP, and physical security, as well as digital solutions with some cloud modernization, website development, and also management consulting with data strategy and governance, training, workforce development, comms, and outreach. And then lastly, we increased our sources of opportunities, and this has really picked up the pace over the course of the last couple of years by pursuing the new GWACs and IDIQ competitions that are out there, as well as entering into 2 SBA-approved mentor-protege joint ventures that we've been able to expand our capabilities and increase the avenues for both existing and potential clients to gain access to us. And so perhaps the most valuable lesson that we learned as we shifted the company to more of a growth mindset during these recent years was the importance of just getting out there. And so that's been, one of the key takeaways, that we just can't overstate the importance of getting out from behind the computer screens and attending industry events that are relevant to a specific business. And I know everybody's probably scratching your heads right now behind the computer screen. And yes, virtual events technically count as getting out from behind your computer screen like this. So, but MBL has been very fortunate to participate in some amazing events recently, like the recent SDVOSB focus event up at the HHS Park Lawn facility. Several invitation-only large business hosted events that were targeting specific small business partners. Also industry events like the Lunch and Learns, information exchanges, and happy hours hosted by NCMA and Shelley McGuire. And most importantly for us, over the course of the past 3 years or so, VIP-led education events like VIP Grow, which we have already attended, and also the upcoming VIP Advanced session that will be held next month. And so each of these events have offered valuable insights, tools, connections that have been so vital to building a stable platform for a small business like ours and positioning for sustainable long-term growth. So I definitely encourage everybody to take advantage of opportunities like these and continue to seek out other ones that are relevant to your specific business areas that can act as a force multiplier. And so with that, I'd like to say thank you. Thanks to everybody here for their attendance and participation today, to Wayne and Carolyn and their teams for supporting important efforts like these and the other ones that they've hosted recently. And also, obviously, to the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce and the VIP team for pulling this together and giving us the opportunity to sponsor. So, Barbara, I'll turn it back to you to get back to the real reason everyone's here today.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Dennis, for sharing your secrets to success. It's a great model to follow, diversification of, building on your success, past performance, and diversifying products, service, customers. And so, and how you go about it is, continuing to have those conversations and getting out there and being engaged in the community. So congratulations on your growth, and look forward to hearing more about your continued success in the market. So thank you again for your support. If you are new to the Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce, or MCCC, one of the greatest distinctions between our chamber and others across the country is our role in the federal government contracting space. As you can see, we advocate on the Hill for small business federal contractors like yourselves, and our resume includes getting the Small Business Runway Extension Act signed into law. At MCC, our mission is to accelerate your success. We do so by providing impactful programming such as this event series with HHS. Members of our professional staff are attending today and are available to answer any questions you may have about our organization. This event series was developed to connect the GovCon community with federal agencies, build relationships with other business leaders, and learn about upcoming procurement opportunities. Over the next few months, we will host virtual and in-person events that will help you continue to dive deeper into contracting with HHS, ensuring that you have the information and support necessary to help accelerate your success. For example, our third event in the series will be held in person on April 18th in Rockville, Maryland. The event will feature guest speakers from HHS, GSA, and the National Library of Medicine at the NIH, as well as one-on-one open sessions with prime HHS federal contractors. We will share more details about the event in the email you will receive following today's event. This email will also include a link to today's presentation video. Your feedback, ideas, and participation are invaluable to us. We encourage you to utilize the Zoom chat box to share your thoughts, insights, and ideas throughout the session. Today, we have the honor of hearing from two officials from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Carolyn Taylor, Deputy Assistant Secretary for Acquisitions, and Wayne Berry, Small Business Specialist. Carolyn Taylor is a career member of the Senior Executive Service and currently serves as the Department of Health and Human Services Assistant Secretary for Administration and Deputy Assistant Secretary for Acquisitions. In this role, she operates as the key advisor to the ASA regarding acquisition services, strategic sourcing, acquisition management and policy, and HHS acquisition consolidation efforts. She also uses cost-effective techniques to maximize procurement flexibility to achieve quality, timeliness, and economies of scale for the $1 billion procurement program. Previously, Carolyn served as the Deputy Director of Health Resources and Services Administration, HRSA, Office of Acquisition, Management and Policy. In this role, she served as the Principal Advisor to the Director concerning operation matters to include existing or proposed legislation. She also managed daily procurement operations, contributed to strategic planning, and ensured the agency's procurement activities complied with laws, rules, and regulations. She is joined by Wayne Berry, a small business specialist with the Health and Human Services Office of Small Disadvantaged Business Utilization, as we call ODSDBU, currently assigned to the Health Resources Services Administration. His career in civil service began in Cleveland, Ohio at the Lewis Stokes Cleveland Department of Veteran Affairs Medical Center, where he served in contracting. He was later recruited to DC as a program analyst in the Department of Veteran Affairs ODSDBU office. He joined HHS ODSDBU in 2011. Before I turn it over to Carolyn and Wayne, we ask that you please stay muted during their presentations. Once we announce our transition to the networking portion of this event, you can unmute. And now I will turn it over to our HHS partners. Thank you, Carolyn and Wayne, for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Wayne Berry, a small business specialist. I'm going to introduce you to Carolyn Taylor, the head of contracting for, how do I say it? The assistant administration for...
Assistant Secretary for Administration.
See, I'm glad you did it. That's better. That's better. So Carolyn is the senior executive that heads that office, but she is also the acting HCA. So we're here, we're lucky to have her here to present for both roles, this great organization. I've known Carolyn for more than 10 years. She's always been a great advocate for the small business program, and we're just really honored to have her fit in her busy schedule this opportunity. So without further ado, I want to introduce Ms. Taylor.
Good afternoon, everyone. Wayne and Barbara, you all are too kind. Thank you so much for the introduction. And some of you that are on the call, I may have seen you at the HHS Industry Day that we have. So thank you very much for making that a success, as well as coming to this event. So today I will be talking to you with a couple of upcoming procurements we have, but I do want to share a disclaimer. Please keep in mind that we are under 4 continuing resolutions. So as a result, as you all heard on the news, we just got our budget passed. So what that translates into is the programs are just starting to give us their requirements. So just so that you all will know, most of the vehicles that we will be using, because of course we're getting the money so late, will be the GWAC, such as eBuy, NITAC, and we will also be doing SAM.gov, but it would be very few on SAM.gov because that's considered full and open. And because of Father Time, we do have constraints when we do full and open. So just want to give you all that disclaimer. They will be coming out, but I just don't have as many today to share with you because of that. Our lovely continuing resolutions. So, but I do have a couple for you today that I would like to share with you, as well as some sauce of salt that we have out there. So, also for the sauce of salt notice, it's very important that you all submit capability statements, because here in HHS, that is what determines if it is set aside for small business. If you don't submit capability statements that are relevant to the requirement, then we cannot make that determination in consultation with Wayne Berry's office, because it's not just us that made that determination, but we also consult with them as well. So for one of the upcoming procurements we have is for human resources, and that's for our Office of Human Resources. And so what it is it will be a BPA, single award BPA, or AHRQ. We're still in the throes of that. It's for in FY25. The anticipated value is $100 million. It will be a base plus 4 years. If we do it as a BPA, of course, it will be on eBuy. If we do it as an AHRQ, it will be on SAMS.gov. But wanted to put this one out because this one, we will be doing an industry day, which I will let Wayne know so that he can communicate it to Montgomery County Chambers so that you all can come to that. But it will be an industry day for this as well. And it's a broad spectrum of services that they need for human capital services to improve organizational and individual performance and employee engagement. We currently do have it out on SAMS.gov, but we will be canceling that one in the near future, and this one won't be the one that's replacing it. So it is one on SAM.gov for the similar for BPA, but that one will be canceled, and this one, which we'll be doing in FY25, will replace that one. Next slide, please. And the next one that we have, which is be in FY24, this fiscal year, is for personnel security assistance. And this is assistance with badging of personnel that we have. And this is for working with ACF on this one. And so it's a single award. It's a new requirement. This one will be on GSA eBuy, and it's for, again, investigation and security. I do have a point of contact for that one, which would be Frank Barnett. It also may be John McKeever, who can be reached at john.mckeever, McKeever, at psc.hhs.gov. And so this one will also be a base plus 4 option years. And so we'll be looking forward to you all hopefully submitting proposals for that one as well. Next slide. Oh, the anticipated dollar value for that is $3 million. I'm sorry. Thank you. Next slide, please. So I do have some source of salt. And so again, the source of salt is so that we can determine if we can do a small business set aside. And so in order to determine if we have a small business, we can set it aside for small business. We have to find 2 or more that's capable. Just 2. That's all we're asking for. Just 2 of you to let us know that you're capable to do the work. I know that you will support us and submit these capability statements. But this is for work mainly for our federal occupational health that we affectionately call FOH. And so for the first one is clinical staffing. Well, the first 2 are clinical staffing. One is in the East and one is in the West. And so both of those are recompetes. The value for the clinical staffing in the East is $99 million. And so this contract is to acquire professional medical staffing and occupational health professionals and ancillary staff to support FOH. And the Eastern region includes 36 states and covers everything from east of Texas, except for Maryland, Virginia, and DC. The other one is for the West, similar scope. This is a recompete, but this one is for $42 million, and this includes 13 states and includes everything west of Texas up through North Dakota. And then we also have another recompete coming up, and this for respiratory assessment program. And this is a web-based respirator medical questionnaire and evaluation clearance program to support FOH. And so that anticipated dollar amount is $4.8 million. And again, these are sources sought, and they are on SAMS.gov. And if they're not there now, they will be coming. So please make sure you look at SAM.gov and as well as GSA eBuy. Next slide, please. And then the last two sources sought that I have for you all, one is for environmental health and safety support services. The estimated value is $37 million. This is also a recompete. This will be an 8A set aside, and it's a 5-year IDRQ. And this one is anticipated to be a base plus 4 option periods. And then the last but not least is the biomedical inspections. It's an annual biosafety inspection for medical equipment. This is also a recompete for estimated by $1.6 million. This is going to be a small business, and then this is also base plus 4 option period. So with that, I will stop there. And if you all have any questions. No, well, thank you.
No? Okay, well, I'm sure we will have I know you'll be able to stay with us for a few more minutes while Wayne, and we'll open it up for questions. And I just want to say, Carolyn, thank you so much for going over the procurement. It was, we all are very much aware that you just got out of your CR, just got your, the budget to HHS, and that does put a lot of pressure on the contracting community. And thank you for sharing how you're going to have to adapt, improvise, and overcome that challenge. And I'm thrilled to hear that you're only looking for 2 small businesses that have that capability.
Just
2. And I am confident. I saw some folks writing, and I am confident that we will help you get to that too. Those are incredible opportunities for the small business community. So thank you for encouraging and inspiring those to respond to those opportunities. Wayne, I know you want to add to Carolyn's insights as to how to be successful here at HHS. And over to you, Wayne.
All right, good. Thank you, Carolyn. We got a question. Will we be able to share that information that Carolyn provided with us today? I believe we will. We'll disseminate that out. Everything I have will also be shared for this presentation. So to keep everybody up to date and informed, I want to thank you, Ms. Taylor, for taking your time out your day to do this. It really matters a lot. And hopefully we'll get those 2 or more responses that you really need.
Yeah.
Now, I'm sure you will.
Oh, yeah, Carolyn, I just want to confirm you're going to be around, because I know we have some questions in the chat box. Are you going to stick around for after Wayne to do a group
yes,
chat?
I'll stick around for after Wayne to answer some questions.
Okay.
So, of course, small business, like Wayne said, I've always loved small business. All large businesses started small. So.
Absolutely.
You're the best.
Yeah, Carolyn, it would be great if you could just, if you want to respond to the questions as I do my presentation. That way, keep it all fresh for the folks while we're doing this. Is my presentation ready?
Up right there it is. No, here we go.
That's not, that's the OAM's presentation.
There we go.
It's okay, we'll take a minute. Better you guys than me, because I tell you what, You guys are A1 at handling this. I appreciate it.
No.
Could you give me the screen share on this one? And this is perfect. So, ladies and gentlemen, what I do here once a month is give you an update on where we are in our performance. Because we had our guest speaker, I did an extra slide for OAMs. As you can see, HHS has overall, we have room for improvement. Yeah, we have, we're just going to leave it at that. We got a lot of red and yellow. We're going to work on that. We'll go down one. We see HRSA is doing very well in their small business goals, nearly doubling their work in the small business, tripling their awards under small disadvantage. So we're doing very well. Obviously, we need help with service disabled veteran owned, and I hope you all respond to some of these upcoming announcements we're going to discuss. Moving over to the upper right-hand corner, we have AHRQ, and they have as much room for improvement as HHS. So we're going to continue to work on that. Continue to look at the announcements that are coming out for AHRQ too. We got one or two coming out. And last but not least, our rock star, Ms. Taylor was happy to show up because she gets to accept her roses, because I tell you what, OAMs is definitely helping HHS meet their goals. And congratulations for their team for doing that so far. So I know it's only the second quarter, but I take it when I can get it. Next slide, please. Okay. So upcoming requirements at AHRQ, we have a software announcement. Take a look at this source of sought announcement. Please. I know it's out right now. It's going to close soon if it hasn't already, but you have the email point of contact to try to run that work down if the window's closed on the source of sought. Next, go down one more. We're looking at HRSA's requirements. The National Practitioners Database is out on the street. It closes Monday, April 1st. There's a BPA, it calls for acquisition training program. That's not with that's with CMS, Center for Medicaid Service. The BPA, that's with CMS. And I just put that in there because I saw the opportunity that the point of contact for CMS would be Anita Allen. Anita Allen at CMS as your small business point of contact for that requirement. And now, well, just before I finish the opportunities. So AHRQ and HRSA, I cover those two. Take a look at those. If you have any follow-up, that's who I'm the person you reach out to for that. And the last one, BPA, that's Anita Allen at Center for Medicaid Services. As always, I encourage you to go to our SBCX, register your company. You'll find our forecast information is there. Our upcoming events are there. Pretty much everything small business at HHS should be at SBCX. And if not, we're going to add it. Upcoming events, we're going to have in April 18th, we're going to have our next industry day. The next guest will be from the National Library of Medicine, and that will be in person. But I will leave that up to Montgomery County Chamber of Commerce to talk more about that. But we're very excited about having a deputy director of head of contracting for NLM come out. We're also going to have the OSBU director attending and speaking with you on the 18th. So very great day. And with that, I yield my time.
Oh, well, thank you, Wayne, and thank you for continuing to share the opportunities and greatly appreciated. I wanted to jump right into a question that we have. Carolyn, we already have somebody who wants to, figure out how to get, submit their CAPE statement for the sources sought. What is the path to do that?
I was just typing in the answer.
Okay.
So the path is you have to wait for it to get posted on STAM.gov or eBuy. And once it's posted, then there will be instructions on what needs to be included in the CAPE statement and when it's due and who to submit it to.
Okay, great. Let me see. Here's another question. You mentioned that some of the requirements will be directed to GWAC and other vehicles. Does the agency plan to do sole source contracts as well?
Are you kidding with all those competition numbers you just saw, all that red? We need competition. No, we do plan to do one that's 8A that will be a sole source, and that was in the source assault. So
Okay.
and that's the 8A.
Every tool in the toolbox, right?
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
But I have to have Wayne get out the red. So
Yeah. 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 Absolutely. You want it,
You
and
are doing your part already. You are doing your part, but
I'm
we need your
trying
help.
here. So yeah, so we will most of them if they are so please keep in mind with sole source, typically it's only sole source if it's proprietary to that company. Typically we don't do sole source unless it's under the AA program, which you can do sole source up to, is it 4 million or 4.5, Wayne? I think it's 4 million for sole source, 4.5 for 8A. So but that in itself is a challenge because a lot of times the contracts that we do sometimes go over to 4.5. So for sole source, but if we do a sole source, it's mainly 90% of the time it's the 8A sole source that we can do under the authority.
okay. Excellent. Excellent. Any other questions that we have for Carolyn and Wayne? This is your opportunity. Erin, unmute. Go. Yeah, this is our chairwoman of the board. So thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
And Erin.
Yeah. I just wanted to help Carolyn. I noticed that you were yellow for your women-owned small business, and I wanted to help you get green, that you could just do a sole source for that. I think would be a fantastic idea.
Yeah, absolutely correct, Aaron. And I do actually do sole source for women owned. So you're right, we do have the women owned. So I saw that too. Great observation, Aaron. So yes, yes, we do know. So we do those. So I want a sole source as well. So, but thank you for bringing it to my attention.
No, yeah. And thank you so much for coming out to join us today. We really appreciate your time. It's really super valuable to everybody on the call. And I always get something out of these. So thank you again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invite. I greatly appreciate the invite. And as Wayne said, small business, true and near to my heart. When I was a contract specialist, which I will always be. But when I started out as a contract specialist, my personal goal was every year to get at least one new small business a contract, whether that was 3,000 or 3 million. But for those of you here on the call, I just want to emphasize that it's very important that you'll be willing to take the $3,000 contract, because that $3,000 contract may eventually turn into $3 million. But you have to start somewhere, and so sometimes you have to take the crumbs before you can get the whole pie. So just want you to, when you're thinking about when you've been, and I do, having been on the other side, I used to work in private and doing government contracts. So I know what it's like to have to put a proposal together and put a bid together. So I do understand the labor of love that goes in, that goes into that. And I know with the resources that you have to be very discerning on which ones that you will bid on. So, but those little ones is 3,000. Don't take as much effort as the 3 million. So,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And on that note, there's a lot of interest in, how do you get your foot in the door, right? That is, such a key, is to start building past performance, and as well as those key relationships and understanding further the requirements to meet the mission of HHS. And so one of the questions is from Kim Cole. I don't know, Kim Cloak. I don't know if you want to unmute, Kim, and ask your question, or I can read it. So Kim wants to know, could you provide more details about the specific criteria or priorities that HHS considers when selecting vendors for these procurement opportunities? And, and any insights that you can provide to help Kim and others, better understand your priorities that you consider.
Well, I don't, it's a colloquial.
Well,
So it depends, right? And so
yeah.
keep in mind that when you submit a proposal to whether it's HHS, DOD, when you submit a proposal, it goes to an evaluation panel. And so just like anything you're evaluating, whether you're evaluating the prices of buying a television or stuff, it's subjective, right? So you and your spouse may go into the store, the Best Buy store, and Barbara and Wayne go in there, and both of them want a 65-inch television, and Barbara prefers Samsung. Wayne prefers Toshiba, right? And so, but when they're evaluating both of them, they both each have the same evaluation criteria, but Wayne may score Toshiba a 10, Barbara may score it a 5, right? And so it's subjective on how it is. Now we have to go by the evaluation criteria and make sure that you're responding to the evaluation criteria. And so that's what happened. It goes to the evaluation panel that is made up. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 5. And then you have to come to a consensus on the evaluation panel. So we score it individually. Then once it's scored individually, then that evaluation panel has to come to a consensus on what the score is going to be. And that is based on how you respond. A lot of times I will tell you, a lot of times, sometimes you get proposals and they don't respond to what is asked on the evaluation criteria. So that's why the question and answer period that is allotted to you is very, very important. And that's the place where you get clarification. It's too late after you've submitted the proposal. The important piece is the question and during the question and answer, the question, request for question period, because if you don't get the clarification then, and some people I know don't want to do it because you think you're giving away trade secrets, but how else are you going to get the understanding of what it is if you don't ask those questions? So for instance, we may go out and say we want a fixed price contract. But if you know industry best practices is that this should be a time and material contract, if you don't ask during the question period, would the government consider this to be a time and material contract, we're going to move forward with a fixed price contract. If it's something that the government and our need is asking, that because you're in industry, you do it every day. And if we're asking you to do something and you know that's just not feasible at all, then in the question and answer, you should say, will the government consider, or industry best practices says this is the best way to do it, would government consider X, Y, and Z? If you decide and wait until you put in your proposal, and keep in mind, if we're not keeping up with the day to day, they may not be familiar with it, with what you're doing or what you're proposing. So it's really no clear formula, Kim, on how your priorities are set. And in the contract, so we don't set the priorities. Remember, it's program that sets the priorities on what their priorities are. And as you know, they may change from year to year. So what I will tell you, one of the biggest priorities are any White House initiative is a priority. And those we have no say on. We just have to execute on the White House initiative. And those come out hot and fast. And so those are quick turnarounds. And I know sometimes when we put requirements out and you all think it's a short turnaround, it's wired. It's not wired for anyone. It's just that we have a short turnaround and the time in which to get it done and to get it completed. So anytime we put it out, it's not being wired. I know sometimes also, if I can dispel the myth, we work with program, and I know if it's a contract that's been there for 5 years, and then when they come out to recompete, they put the same exact statement of work out. It's not that it's wired, it's just working with program and getting that statement of work changed. It's not being wired for anyone. It's just that they have not taken the time. And also keep in mind, we have contracting officer representatives who are writing these statement of works, and then those cores, they change from the time when the first person got it, and then when the time the next person got it, and the next person may not just update the statement of work. So I do want to dispel the myth that it's wired. If it's something that you definitely think you can do, please put forth a proposal to do so.
Excellent. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that, and certainly understand that it is a depends moment on a case by case, but it's important to understand that at the end of the day, you're contracting with an agency, but you're doing business with people. Right? Yeah. So as a follow-up to that, we have someone who asked, could you, you mentioned, it's important to take those small procurements, that's an opportunity to build past performance, like the $3,000 one. But how do you find those, so Sophia wanted to know, what would you say is the best way to engage OSDBU for HHS so we can always be in the loop for upcoming opportunities, even the littlest ones, which don't always hit the wire, right? How do you find those?
So I would defer to Mr. Wayne Berry on that one, since he does work in the office. But I mean, and honestly, that's what I do when small businesses come to me. I do refer them to the small business specialist so that they can have that relationship. Because remember, everything, especially in the DMV, is all about relationships, right? And building those relationships. So, how do we know you exist if we don't know you're out there, right? And so, a lot of times, even if we go to the small business specialist, and that's what they're there for, we may go to them and say, hey, we have a requirement for X, Y, and Z. And then Wayne will come back and say, oh, yeah, I got a great company that can do X, Y, and Z. But if he doesn't know that you're out there, then Wayne can't recommend me to you. So,
okay. So
but
Wayne.
to that, I will turn it over to Wayne.
So Wayne, do you know about those little ones?
So yeah, no pressure, no pressure at all.
I see the beads of sweat.
Yeah, a little bit. No, but what small businesses need to do, respond to the notices. Please respond to the notices. And also on the follow-up, notify the small business specialist so that we can, because a lot of times when the government,
that's a good point. There's a part two to this. Respond and what's the second part?
Let the small business specialist know what's going on. There's a lot of things that are happening that the small business specialist may not be aware of. For example, right now, today, OAMS is covered by Joshua Blow. He's not available today, but he would be her point of contact, Carolyn's point of contact for this as small business specialist. If something is happening on the street, Joshua may not know. So that's why you always want to, as a follow-up, involve your small business specialist so we can help advocate for you.
Excellent. Good to know. So there's a two-part to this, right? Yeah, excellent. Thank you. Appreciate, and I appreciate the due diligence you have in that process. So thank you. That's key. We need an advocate, and we clearly have one. So thank you. I know that we're going to be providing the slides, that you saw today. And I want my team to just, tell me whether or not we're also providing, because it's been asked, a way to reach out to Wayne and Carolyn for any follow-up. Will that be provided?
I put my contact information. I put my email address in the chat. So,
and then I know Wayne's going to do that. So, so thank you. I appreciate that very much because I'm sure, individuals will have questions about how, as soon as we, leave today, they'll have questions, and this will be a way to follow up. Well, I certainly want to thank Carolyn Taylor and Wayne Berry. Greatly appreciate you making time to share insights on how to further support HHS's mission. We are here to support your mission, and we are here to help you meet your small business goals. And I'm confident that programs like this and opportunities to hear from you and meet is going to further both objectives. So thank you. As we
Barbara, there's one last question. I think
there was
about
a question. Did I miss it?
Yeah. So
okay, well, go ahead and ask it, Dorothy, since you're looking right at it.
Okay. So the question's from Angela. Balani, how do you enforce or track large primes to make sure they actually give work to their subcontractors?
Ooh, that's an important question.
So I can answer that question. So how do we track the performance of the subcontracting and the subcontracting program? That's really the question. And to be honest, we hold the vendor to what subcontracting goals they propose. So if the vendor is not, and we hold, and the relationship is between the subcontractor and the prime. So we can't make them play nice with you all unless the prime is not paying the subcontractor. Now that's a problem. That's a whole separate thing. But if they're not getting as much work as you would like, that's a different, that's relationship between the prime and the sub. But if, as far as non-performance on the contract, if they're not paying you, then that's something we get involved with And we typically hold them accountable with the subcontracting goals they submit to us at the beginning of the contract award. And with that, unless Carolyn has anything else to add to that, I think that's my answer.
I don't have too much more to add to it. Great answer, Wayne. But I think it's important to know that our contract is with the prime, so we're privy to the prime only. Like we don't have any contact with the subcontractors, except for like Wayne says, if the subcontractor isn't getting paid, then we can step in from that point. But as far as them actually use, if they propose you and say they're going to use you, we can't get into the middle of that because again, our contract is with the prime. So we're expecting them to perform the contract and get the contract done, whether the subcontractor helps them or not. But we do now track the subcontractors, right, under Wayne, under the EHRSA. So we do track the goals, but as far as them giving you the work, we have no control over that. Because our contract is with the prime.
And I think a Ms. Cloak sent in a request to asking, is it all right to send a capability statement to me? Please do. Please send your capability statement to me so that we can track it and keep you in mind for future things. Thank you.
Hey, well, thank you. I think that we got to all the questions, and now you have a way to follow up with Wayne and Carolyn. I want to thank you again for your time you afforded us today to share key insights, and we hope to have you back and work with you going forward as well in support of small business success and HHS success and the mission. And we certainly are sensitive to the fact that you just got a budget and you're going to be very busy. But we're going to make sure we respond to the sources sought and help you meet those goals as well. With that, I would like to now.
I have.
Oh, Wayne, yep.
Sorry, Barbara. I just have one more thing to add.
Sure.
You all have my presentation. You also have my list of requirements that I printed up for today. So from today to September 30, we have something like, I think it's over 200 announcements, solicitations for HHS across HHS. So hopefully you all get a chance to take a look at that and kind of break it down and look at anything that's relevant to you. And oh, also what's different too is I was able to get the data not just from what's on SAM, but also what's on GSA, eBuy. So you have information now about what's going on at HHS out on the street or now or in the future through Full and Open and GSA.
And Wayne, that's across HHS, right? So that includes
that's across HHS.
All of our stuff. So my things are included in there as well. So thank you, Wayne, for that. And I do want to wish all of you all the best of luck in your endeavors and working with the federal government. I know it's no easy feat. And so I do want to wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. Appreciate that. And as you know, we're going to make sure we respond and look forward to, you're going to reach out to Wayne for the, opportunities to respond to smaller contracts, and he's your advocate, right? And helping you navigate that process.